Hey, welcome to the show. 956 Sports actually is the show where it looks like I might be bringing that back. And I wanted to bring in a coach that just had a big win in Alice, Texas last night. Coach Ryan Flores of the McHi's Bulldogs. I'm Jake Berry. Coach, congratulations. I mean, look, I covered basketball for a long time, coached for a while. I've never seen a game that perfect. And I know you're probably going to say that it wasn't perfect. There are things you could have done better, but that was a pretty clean basketball game on both sides.
Yeah, give credit to Flower Bluff. Coach, coach does a good job on over there on that end. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I think we played very good basketball last night, and like you said, near perfect. Running our sets and executing, looking at our options, being patient on offense, and just giving or taking, I should say, what Flower Bluff was giving us. And the same thing on the defensive end. I mean, the boys played with a lot of pride, and they executed the game plan as far as how we wanted to defend and what we wanted to give up, if anything, as far as looks or opportunities to score against our defense.
And I have to imagine their 6'7" post was the first, player you've seen that's probably been taller than any of your guys. I mean, 6'7", and you guys were able to contain them. How did you guys do that with, little to no experience with like tall players like that?
Nathan Mangum and Kahari Loggins, we discussed it with him that this is going to be the biggest post we played this season. Since we weren't able to travel and go to any out of town tournament, so we just kind of told him when he goes to the block, we got to try our best to deny him the ball, because he was pretty effective when he got it at the block or within the paint. Now, if he wanted to go to the elbow or the free throw line area, we were going to sag off him and let him shoot that shot and see if you just wait for him to attempt him to put it on the floor and hopefully collapse, in our zone and maybe, get a steal or a deflection on that situation. So we were giving up the outside shot with him at 6'7", hoping that, he wasn't very consistent from 12, 15 feet out. And then, you're 6'7" and you want to shoot the ball from the outside, you kind of eliminate yourself from any kind of rebound. So it kind of worked in our favor.
And you guys came out right away. You didn't get into, because the game before was very frenetic. It was all over the place. Your game, you chewed up probably about a minute and a half per possession in that first quarter. Was that something you were trying to do, just kind of working through your sets? Because you guys were patient. It took a while for you to actually attack the basket.
Yes, you kind of do what the defense gives you, or what kind of defensive tempo they kind of put on our offense. So I know Flower Bluff was a very kind of, man-to-man, solid man-to-man, midline, help side. They weren't going to deny entry passes. They weren't going to be up in your face or up tight man-to-man. So I told the guys to be patient and look for opportunities. That every possession is valuable, and you know what? I've heard it from our coaching staff and some of our players that we're playing pretty good basketball. Since we ended district in these last three playoff games, we've been very patient and very poised on offense, and it has to be. You got to give credit to the boys. I mean, they've kind of matured in this unique season, and they're playing great Bulldog basketball as far as taking smart shots, making smart passes, and if nothing's there, not forcing anything. Because you know how it is, Jake, in the playoffs. You don't get very many possessions. If you waste possessions, well, then you're going to be in trouble down the stretch. So, yeah, I'm proud of the boys. They executed the game plan very, very well. Running our sets, and if one set didn't work, and we ran another set until something opened up. So they did an excellent job on that. And plus, I like to say that we have a very, very special, unique type of team. And it's a team. We have some great players that made great plays in a great basketball game. So it wasn't just one player that they could key on. Don't get me wrong. We have players that we rely on, setting up the offense and creating for others. But, we all hit shots. We all shared the ball. And I think that's the reason why we've been so successful in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, and I know if I start naming out players, I'm going to miss somebody. But one player that's maturity, you're talking about maturity, is Quinn Canada. I mean, he got you points last year when in the first round when you were playing last season, but you didn't have the complement around him to really do what you did last night. But talk to me about Canada, because he was pretty special last night.
Yeah, Q, he does a great job for us as far as, he's averaging probably about maybe 12, 14 points a game, which is not much if you think about, you usually hear about players scoring 20, upper 20s, maybe, low 30s, but he brings so much to our team, more than just points. He handles the ball. He sets up other players to get good looks. He puts pressure on the defense with his penetration and finishing at the cup, or, finishing at the paint. He's just a great overall athlete where, if he gets you on your heels, he can elevate, and there's no way you can even contest or challenge his jump shot. But he's come a long way. He's come a long way. He's been on the varsity since his sophomore year. But this year, just his maturity alone. I don't know if you noticed, Jake, yesterday. Flower Bluff, made some runs, on us, and they actually went on an AO run to start the third quarter, to start the second half, and I just felt so confident in our guys that they didn't fold. They didn't show any kind of nervousness, or they didn't show that they were scared in any way. They said, we called timeout and we said, hey guys, they're picking it up. We got to pick it up as well, and let's win this game. So, and it all starts with him. He's the one that kind of gets the guys going and gets the guys to follow him. He may say that he's not a leader. He just works hard and it's very coachable and does what what I ask of him and our coaching staff ask of him. But he leads by example by far, and the boys follow.
I thought you made a really good adjustment right at the end of the second half. You went with you went 5 out, and you made their big actually have to go out, and you seemed to open up those lanes. And you guys did in the second half where you were 5 out, and it was just Canada with the ball, and he was the decision maker. And then you have the Canoe, Chappelle. You had I'm missing people, but you had everybody playing well last night. What did you see? Because I saw that they had to take out the big after a while because he just couldn't cover.
It's a strategy. Every coach, every program has a different defensive strategy, and what I noticed was that that number 14, that 6'7" kid was following Nathan and Kahari outside the paint. I didn't understand why he was coming out of the paint. So I said there was 10 seconds left. I said we want one shot. Put it in Q's hands and let him make the decision. He's our senior point guard, so I trusted in him every possession. I trust in him, and I said, you know what? Let me put Nate on the wing. Let me put 2 shooters in the corners, and if everybody squeezes, we're gonna have a good look at the buzzer, maybe end of the quarter 3. Or I just told Q. I think there was like a loose ball, jump ball right before then. So I was able to call him over and speak to him, and he was like, "What's up, coach?" And I told him, "Hey, you're gonna wind it down to about 6 seconds. You're gonna attack number 22, and you're gonna shoot the last shot. Go to the basket. Now, if somebody hedges or somebody protects the basket, you have Danny and you have Robert on the baseline. You have the 2 Canoe brothers on the baseline to hit the 3. So you make the decision. It's in your hands, man. Let's make a play." And of course, they stunned it. They faked like they were gonna kind of crash down, and he just finished up high and a little kind of running layup there at the end.
All right. Last thing I did want to point out on that game, I thought I was pretty good. I was going to call out your last play where you were in an inbound, before you got fouled to kind of seal the game. I really thought you were going to set a double pick for Canada, which you did. And I thought you were going to go to Canada, and then I think you guys passed it to Chappelle on he wheeled around. I was like, man, it got me because I thought, and I think I was like Flower Bluff. I followed Canada the whole way with my eyes, and you went the opposite way. It was a beautiful call. I just want to compliment you on that game because when you see good games, it's some parents probably wouldn't appreciate it quite as much as somebody that actually coached, but the nuance is there, man. It was a masterful game.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and like I said earlier, man, the boys, they're playing for each other. They're playing together, and they're trusting in each other. So, I noticed that right away when I think it was a sideline play when they started. They had to foul. It was a kind of an awkward situation where they had 0 fouls the whole second half until the last minute, 40 seconds or something that they got their first foul. But I just remember that out of bounds, that sideline play where, one time we passed it to Canada. And then one time we passed it to Danny Canoe. And then the next time we passed it to Jalen, who Danny set a back screen. And it was just, the kids just executed that so perfectly. It was amazing to me. I was like surprised how well they played. And it goes back to coaching, but, it goes back to the kids have to execute the plays, the X's and O's. So, I was just, when I saw that layup and I was like, wow. And then when we went, I called timeout, and the play I think you're talking about is when we went 4 up, and of course they were keen on Q, double team Q, and anybody else grabbed the ball. And yeah, it was a double pick for Q, and Chappelle kind of rolled and it was wide open.
Yeah. And then, okay, so you've got your game on Tuesday with Georgetown in Pleasanton at 6:30. How do you get your team ready when you had a really great game, but you need to get them ready for this game? And you know that you can't rely on what you did the last game to really, because it's good. It's a new team, new environment. How do you get them ready in such a short amount of time for a team that you haven't seen?
What we've been doing in the playoffs is it's been doing what we want to do, as far as our offensive sets, and being patient and looking at our options and reviewing what they're going to give us. Georgetown plays a man-for-man defense, and we've already watched 2 films on them. So we kind of have a game plan going, and they're going to be, the further up north you go, the bigger the bodies get, right? And actually they're a very well coached team. Coach Canfield does an excellent job. I mean, they remind me a lot of kind of the Princeton kind of offense. They move the ball well, they share the ball well. And if you're not ready defensively, they'll catch you sleeping with a back door. So yeah, I mean, we're gonna go over some of our defensive strategies that we've been doing. We've been doing a lot of zone, a lot of matchup zone, and even a little bit of a box here and a triangle here. But no, we're gonna do what we do. We're gonna put up shots. We're gonna work on our shooting, rhythm shooting, and we're gonna work on our offensive sets, and hopefully the boys play like they've been playing. They've been playing with a lot of Bulldog pride and playing with a lot of energy. So you've seen it. From Weslaco East to Corpus Christi King, now to Flower Bluff. They've been wanting to win and wanting the season to continue and not end. So we'll see what happens.
Okay, last question I'm going to ask you is this. The last time you were in the Sweet 16 was your first year coaching at McHi. You're in your 7th season. You're back at, in Sweet 16. Give me a comparison of your team from then and your team now. Like, how similar and how different are you?
That's a good question. This is my 7th year there at McHi. And I can honestly tell you, it's been a privilege to coach all the kids I've coached this last 7 years in all levels. And one thing I can honestly say from the first team that we went, well, of course we were 6A, right, in 2014-15. Now we're 5A. They were a team just like this team. I didn't have I had to ask assistant coaches. I have to go to Max Preps and look at the stats. I don't even know who our leading scorer is back then. And to be honest with you, I really don't know who our leading scorer is now. We have so many kids that can score and put the ball in the bucket. So we just try to concentrate on getting W's, getting wins, playing good, smart defense. So the similarities is that, anybody can score. They play together, they play hard, and they play Bulldog basketball. I don't see very much difference. They've bought in. The only thing is, my first year, they were a senior ball club. Okay. And this year, being the unique year it's been, not having an off season or a preseason, these players have been gelling a little bit better here down the stretch. And we're younger. We have 3 senior starters, but out of our 10 kids, we have 6 coming back. So, I mean, this is great experience for them. I know they're talking about wanting to win back-to-back district titles. Everybody wants to win a district title. But let me just add this one thing before I forget, Jake. Me and my assistant coaches, we've been talking about this ever since we won the district we were co-district champs with Nicky Rowe. If you would have asked us, this would have been a district championship team come October, I wouldn't have put $1 on us. I would have bet $1, man. So the way we've come up and the way we've played, and the way we've practiced, the way we started to now the way we're practicing, and how these kids have bought in, and how these kids are just playing great basketball, team basketball. It's kind of amazing to see. And you know what? I have the best seat in the house, right? I mean, you may commentate and you may film and you may be on the stands, but to be in the huddle with these kids, and like I said, to call a play, out of bounds play, sideline play, and for them to already know what they need to do and what responsibilities they have to take care of, and then see them execute. I mean, it's the best feeling in the world.
That's awesome. Okay, I kind of lied here.
Okay.
I want to ask one more question. How have you changed since your first year? Because look, you're Sweet 16, your first year as a head coach. That's a new experience. But how have you grown, and how are you going to be different in this game?
You know, man, that's a very good question. So I would say, you know, adjustments. I mean, I think adjusting with what personnel you have. I think we're a lot better shooting team than we were in 2014, 2015. The defense is the same. They play with the same kind of grit, same kind of passion. But this year, I think the way I've coached is, we can spread the floor a lot more. There's more we can do as far as stretching out defenses. And then, of course, we use Q and we use Jalen and we use some of these other guys to penetrate and kick out. But, me as a coach, I think I've matured enough where, I can trust in my staff. I've had the same staff the last 3 years. This is going on 4. So they know what our philosophy is as far as a basketball program, what I expect from the kids and what I expect from them. And if you see me on the sideline, it's a total team effort with my coaching staff. I have Coach Gonzalez, Roy Gonzalez, Omar Guerra, Daniel Trevino, and George Villalobos. I mean, they've been with me for the past 3 years, like I said, and they see things sometimes that I can't see. And I always tell the boys, you have 5 guys on the floor that need a help on defense and offense. Well, I got 4 coaches, including me. We're 5. And we're all there to help you, and we want to win as well, just as bad as you do. So I would have to say maybe the patience. I think I had a lot more passion, a lot more yelling. Now it's hey, you know what? Let's do the yelling, the teaching in practice, and let the kids perform during the game.
Well, Coach, your game is at Pleasanton at 6:30 versus Georgetown. Best of luck. I know McAllen ISD will be there to cover the game, but best of luck, and can't wait to see the game.
Well, thank you for having me, and I enjoyed it, and I'm glad you're back trying to do 956 Sports and all these interviews, man, because I know you've done it in the past, and you've done a great job.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. And, I'll see you Tuesday.
All right. See you Tuesday.